with us today, we have Melissa Paul with the Work for the Warriors Project. Their mission is to increase career opportunities for military or personnel, that's supposed to be military, veterans and family members by developing proactive relationships with Oregon employers and connecting their members with those employers through all available channels in order to obtain stable careers, family life, and optimal retention. And I found out she is a former Key Club member. Hey,
I am Melissa, and I am with the Work for Warriors program. We are all over. There's like 14 different programs. We're in Oregon, Washington, Nevada. I'm not going to name them all the way to the south, Hawaii, and a small group in Alaska. So today I want to cover who Work for Warriors is, what do we do, and what makes us a unique program. So our goal is I'm going to answer these 3 questions, as I already said: who we are, what we do, and what makes us unique. So Work for Warriors, we are a dedicated team of employment professionals. We are also known as outreach counselors, networkers. We do it all. So we help veterans, service personnel, and their family members, and our main goal is to help them find sustainable employment. So that means like networking and making community connections with different professional businesses in the communities. That means helping them create a resume that shows their full experiences and so on. So, what does Work for Warriors do? So there's 9 areas where we help service members, veterans, and their families. The first one I want to cover today is setting career goals. So oftentimes that kind of scenario is an individual will come to me and they will say, Melissa, I don't know what to do. I've just spent the last 20 years doing infantry, or I was a pilot, or I was a civil engineer. How can I take these skills and how can I use them in the civilian workforce? And so I have a few different career tests that I will use that WorkSource uses as well. We kind of do a partnership. We do some career goal setting. Okay, so you took that test to do what you did in the military. What's next? How can we help you through it? And so they will do that. They'll find something that they're passionate about. I'll always ask, what's your dream job? I've had anyone say from a marine biologist to I want to sell cars to I want to be an executive. So during this time, as you'll see, the second one is where we'll identify some of those transitional skills. And that's where we will go through and we will talk about the leadership skills that have been built within their career, whether they went from enlisted personnel to officer or up through the enlisted ranks to E9 in their Air Force career, Marine career, Army career, whatever branch of the service they served in. Those transitional skills then are going to be drafted for them to start their employment search of where they would be best qualified for the employment world. So this is my favorite part. I get to write resumes. Yay! So I get to ask people, I get to ask them, tell me about your past career. Tell me about your past military career. What have you done in the military? And they'll list it out, and they will go sometimes all the way back 30 years. That can be a little overwhelming. I'm like, oh my goodness, what do we do with this? So I'm always getting to learn. So the latest one I did was for someone that was like, he ended up, his career ended as being an advisor to the state general. And so I got to learn all about that position, but he started as a mechanic. So it was really awesome to take the walk with him through his past from that initial enlistment as an 18-year-old soldier joining the Air Force, being a mechanic on aviation, and then walking him all the way through his adjunct career. And so now he's applying to be a consultant and a career specialist with the state. Job search strategies. So we have a lot of different areas that we try to train our clients that come to us on how to stay up with the latest employment trends, how to continue to do their searching, and things like that. So sometimes people will be like, well, I'm not getting anywhere. What's going on with the employment world? What's happening here? And so I like to use what's called the multi-pronged approach, and then that gives them like the best chance for success in landing a great paying job. So I like to ask, what is the salary requirement? And I've had people come to me and say, I need $200,000 a year, which is totally doable. And then I've had somebody say, I only need $17 an hour. And my response to that one will be, that's not a livable wage. Let's shoot for the moon. So, interviewing. Who loves to do an interview? Anyone? No? It is possible that you might say or doing something during your interview that might be sabotaging you. And so sometimes people will come and they will be like, oh, you know, I have a great resume. I'm getting to the interview process, but I'm just bombing them. I'm walking away and I'm not feeling confident. I don't know what's going on. And so when that comes into play, what we'll do is I will sit down with them, sometimes in person, sometimes through Teams or Zoom, sometimes over the phone. Sometimes I can only get them to text me. And we will go over some of the things that maybe they could possibly do better. And so maybe it is a field where maybe they're a project manager and they just need to practice some questions. So we'll get together. Those are often panel interviews. I have some other community partners work with WorkSource and have them come in, the veteran Steve Opp. And we'll have a panel interview, and we will just set it up for them as if they're coming in, and we'll just do a little evaluation. And I'll have like 5 questions, and then my other people helping me will have 5 or 6 questions, and we'll just do round table. We're looking for during that process, we want to know if they're going to shake our hand, eye contact. Maybe they're really nervous, what are they doing? And so we help people prepare. We help them prepare for that interview process. If they're not willing to meet in person, we will send out just a list of questions, and I'll share. Please practice these in your mirror, so then you know how you look when you're speaking, what you're doing, And then people are always sometimes like, oh, I'm so nervous going in. It's okay. Just take a deep breath. It's okay to ask a question and say, can you repeat that? It's okay to pause. If you're really anxious, touch your pants. Take a deep breath. What do you smell? All the things. And then number 6, we love to network in our best practices. So one of the things we get to do is we get to help individuals get access to the hidden job market. We connect them with the right people that can help them get noticed and be considered for the jobs that are the best fit for them. And so through this process, I do a lot of networking in the different communities. I'm not sure if I mentioned today or not. I do serve Crook, Deschutes, Jefferson, Grant, Lake, and Klamath counties. And so I am out in those communities, sometimes networking, saying, hey, what opportunities do you have? Are you veteran friendly? Are you military spouse friendly? Are you going to honor that maybe they have to go to drill weekend? Different things like that. And so that's where that hidden job market comes in. About 80% of the jobs that I find for people are hidden jobs. They are jobs that the companies have that they haven't advertised, or maybe they're getting ready to advertise. And I can say, hey, I have this individual that's interested. Oftentimes I won't if I don't have someone, I won't go to that person or that company or employer. I would then say, hey, I have, Joe, he's really highly qualified. These are some of his skills. And then I get to do what I like to call the hand-holding service a little further. I get to say, hey, I'll use Dan. Hey, Dan, I have Joe. He's a really great employee. I think he would be a huge benefit to your company. And then we get to do this warm, little interview. I do the handoff, and then Dan could take it from there as the employer. Oftentimes, then they're hired. So, number 7, salary negotiations. It can feel icky, right? Who likes to negotiate their salary or ask for a pay increase? So sometimes for our clients, we will always say, please negotiate that salary. Come up with $1 or $2 higher than what they're saying is what we would say. So if they offer you $35 an hour, say, you know what? I'll take the job if you'll offer me $37 an hour. And then the ball has been bounced over to the employer. The employer can say, hey, I need to talk to the national company, or hey, let me talk to the boss or the owner. And our main goal is just to help our clients find that best salary to get where they need to. And then sometimes people are in a job and they've been working in the job and maybe they've been there for over a year, and then they will ask, oh my goodness, I've been here for a year. What is the approach that I should take for negotiating my salary? I feel like I've shown up, I act like it's my interview or my best self every day I come to work. I'm ready, I'm prepared, I'm following through, I'm exceeding my job requirements. How do I approach this? And we'll share with individuals to just go to your supervisor and say, hey, I was just wondering if I could get a salary raise. And then oftentimes the supervisor will say, well, what were you thinking? And they'll say like $1 to $2 more. So maybe they're making the 37 and they want to bump that to 39. And so they'll say that, and then the supervisor then will take it to his or her supervisor, and then they get back to it. And oftentimes, what I have seen in salary negotiation, if you're already in a current role, if they say no, then oftentimes people will like, bye, see you, I've been offered it over here. And so then they will leave or transition, and then we get to help go through all the process again. So applying for apprenticeships. So we have a lot of trades here in Central Oregon as a whole. More over in the valley for my coworkers that are there in the Portland, Salem region. But I always do like to ask when a client comes to me, and if they are struggling with taking their skill set from their military experience, or maybe it's even a spouse, they'll come and say, I've been a homemaker for the last 4 years. I don't have any skills. Well, absolutely, you have skills. You have been the CEO of your home. You've done budgeting. You keep those kids on a schedule. So there are so many skills within that they're missing. And so we will try to put them into apprenticeships. So that can be apprenticeship for electrical. That can be for plumbing. It can be for, recently I just had one that I helped an individual do. He wanted to do steel construction and window framing. And so we got him into that, created a resume. We work a lot with Boley in the Portland area, with Aaron there. And then again, it's that partnership. It's that relationship that we have built with different unions, with different companies that hire veterans. And oftentimes the apprentice programs will take a veteran because they know that they're going to be a dedicated employee, or even a service personnel that is doing drill weekends. They will take them. They will say, yes, just submit your resume with what you've done. Maybe they've worked a little bit on the side in construction or window building, and then they just put them into the profession to start with those hours towards the apprenticeship. For spouses, we've even done some at the hospital in the state of Oregon. You don't have to have a phlebotomist license, but they will do on-the-job training for you. So and then some of those military spouses have the flexibility within their hours and things like that. So what makes Work for Warriors unique, and why should individuals work with us? So I'm local here to Central Oregon. There are 7 different counselors across the state of Oregon, and I will show the map in a second. And we serve multiple counties. So people are available, like myself, to meet in person, on phone, Zoom, through text. We meet in armories. We'll meet at a coffee shop, the library, wherever an individual is comfortable. I do not go in home, so. So this here you can see as our region map. So when we are needed, we are there. So this is my big region here that I serve. And so I have people from, like I said, all over, from John Day to Lapine to Klamath Falls to Lake County. And then here is just some more information. This is the different counselors, our contact information, and I'll leave that today as well. As you can see, we're all over. And we work with anyone who is related to a service member. So that could be your great-grandfather served or your friend served, and we are open to serving spouses, veterans. And then the other thing that really makes us stand out from different employment agencies is we are really connected to a lot of different resources within our local communities because we live in those communities and we are there to provide them. I know there's another program that sometimes we work with a little bit, but they're not here in the state of Oregon. They could be living in Tennessee and then trying to help our veterans here. And so we really build, like our focus is built on the communications and the relationship with the client, and then the follow-up as well once they are into the career field. And we are funded by and work directly with the Oregon Army National Guard. So I am a contractor for the Oregon Army National Guard, but there is no associated cost. It is a completely free program. And one thing I always like to share as well is if you're to go have a resume built for you as you're transitioning, say, service member or individual, you're going to pay on the upwards of $450 to $700 to get yourself a good quality resume. So we always say, hey, reach out, use our services. We do stay with the latest. I am federal resume certified as well. I know right now there's that hiring freeze, but it's going to open again, and we'll be right back to those as well. So now that you know who we are, what we do, and what makes us unique, I always like to ask, how can I help you? How can I serve you? How can I help someone that you know? And then any questions? Yeah.
Are most of your clients in their 20s?
Absolutely not. No. So it varies, absolutely. So I oftentimes do have some of the young service personnel come to me. It's very minimal. I would say I only have a handful. And oftentimes they're coming to me because it is a situation where I was supposed to go on deployment, Melissa. I quit my job. Now what? I've never had a job. I work construction. I worked for mom and dad in their business. Can you help me get a resume? Yes. Most of my clients are transitioning service personnel. They have done 20 to 35 years of service, and they're looking for their next career. I do several military spouses as well, where they have had the nomadic life, as I like to call it, as my husband served as well, so we were always everywhere. And so he's retired now, thankfully, after 27 years, but it's hard as the military spouse to have those jobs, especially when you're trying to take care of kids, and so then they stay home and then they want to go back to the field when their kids are more school age. And so trying to plug them into flexible jobs, whether it's in the school district, the hospitals, things that have a flexible schedule. Yeah.
Sometimes when people are in the service and they separate from the service, a lot of options are provided to them. Mm-hmm. They seem to be hesitant to take a lot of those. Do you find that folks are hesitant to come and ask for the help from your organization?
Sometimes there's a little bit. It is, I would say with that one, it's really word of mouth in a lot of ways. Like Melissa has done whatever for so-and-so, and then they come to me. But sometimes you're absolutely right. That pride piece is, I don't need your help. I got this. I'm a soldier. I'm an airman. So, yeah, there's always that piece. But then there's the opposite piece, too, where the unit is involved. And that's where I build relationships with the local units. And they maybe have been served an eviction notice, and their commander saying, hey, are you working? And then no. And then it's a mandated thing as well. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the transition. So if somebody's been in the military, it's very structured. Yep. The process is scripted and all of that. And so now they're going out into the public or private sector. And, you know, what kind of challenges do they have, and then how do you help them overcome that?
Yeah, absolutely. It is a lot of challenge, honestly, when you have had... Well, I'll just kind of start with the beginning to answer that question. You know, they've been provided with a housing allowance. They've been provided with a salary, and then they've had their job. And some of them have had their job. Like, I'll use one client right now I'm working with. He's been in Secret Service, so specialty like military stuff, and then behind the scenes for missions on deployment and things like that. So for him, he's applying because on his side, was like a volunteer policeman. It's just tricky because we're trying to navigate. Sometimes those leadership skills will transfer out but sometimes they won't transfer out. So the hurdles of going into the employment where the salary is less is one hurdle that they're struggling with. Maybe they are moving out of state, so that's another hurdle. They're taking that next move, starting a new career, getting a new home, once again. Some of the other challenges are just finding that job that's going to fit their lifestyle, that's going to fit them, that's so different from the military because of the structure. Sometimes they're a little too lax, some of the jobs they take. Long term, when an individual has served for 20 plus years, I really try to plug them into state work or county work or federal work because it's a similarity and resemblance to what they know.
Yeah, well, because we have individuals that they go into a service industry and they get upset when we didn't make the customer play by the rules.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's like you
Yes.
have these processes, and then people with the military experience were like, the customer's not following the rule, and I'm
Right.
trying to make them follow the rule, and then they get mad at me and complain about me and all those kind of things. And so those were the kind of the transition issues that we would see that we would have to work through.
Yeah. No, and that is a great example because so there's that chain of command, and in the military, it's right now. That email's there, you reply now, You need this scheduled, it's now. It's not when I get to it. And that in itself is a challenge oftentimes. What do you mean you're a week out? We need to make this happen now. This is, just because it's engraved, the morale, the take care of each other, the battle, the brotherhood and sisterhood. So, yeah. Yeah, and then sometimes there are just hindrances, whether it's mental health from PTSD that they're battling. Sometimes they're transitioning out, and then it's been a while, but they were too prideful to reach out and say, I need help. So then I work a lot with different, like right here in Bend, we have military family readiness specialist, and she's really amazing at helping veterans and different individuals transition back. Another scenario I am seeing with some veterans right now is they have retired, but they're older in their generation, in their 70s and 80s, and now they're transitioning back and going back to work. So one was like, I can't pay my property tax, because of the cost of living. So there's a lot of different hurdles that could be presented for each individual. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Come out here and we'll get a picture of you.
Oh, sure.
Maybe in front of the flag.
Yeah,
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
that would be.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank.
All right, good job, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being with us.
Thank you.